Okay, g'day all. Today we're baking some sourdough bread. I've been baking a heap of sourdough bread lately, probably baking 2 or 3 times a week at least. It's winter here in Australia and we are enjoying the cold weather and also enjoying eating. It's something we do really well. Sourdough bread, the smell of bread in the house just can't be beat. Dipping bread in olive oil. We've been making some homemade salami as well. Fantastic. So we're going to cook some bread. I've had a hope of people asking me how you make your bread, how do you get it looking so nice, and I think it's just easier if I put a little video together showing you how we do this. So sit back, we'll go and get some ingredients and let's make some bread. Okay, so let's put this all together. I make it in a Pyrex dish. You can make it in a stainless steel dish. I'll probably transfer it from this into a stainless steel dish afterwards. What I need to do is zero or tear in my dish. And we need 3 cups of flour, but I prefer to weigh it to get more consistency because it all depends how tight you pack in a cup. It will give you different consistency in the dough. So by weighing the dough will give us the best consistency, and what we need is 380 grams of flour, so that's 375, so 380 grams of flour will give us the dough we're looking for. Then what we need to do is add 1 3/4 teaspoons of salt, so it's half, 1, 1.5, and just half a half. So 1 3/4 teaspoons of salt. Then we need to add half a teaspoon of dry yeast. Don't put any more than that. The secret to this dough, one of the secrets to this dough is the slow fermentation. The whole process needs to take 12 to 16 hours to proof, so therefore it's slow and you get a beautiful aeration in the dough, nice bubbles forming and a great fermentation process. What we need to do now is just combine all those 3 ingredients together nicely, and from there we add 1.5 cups or about 355 mils of lukewarm water. Whatever you do, don't put hot water in there, you're going to kill the yeast. If it's just straight out of the tap cold, it's okay because it's going to warm up over the 12 hours. But if you start with lukewarm, it's just going to slowly just start the process up. From there, we need to combine all the ingredients. It's nothing too fancy. You don't make any mess. Constantly scraping down the flour from the sides of the bowl. There's no mess whatsoever. Tell a lie. So just combine it all with a spoon. No need to use your fingers. Make sure we get it all. There's no heavy kneading involved, so the kids can do this. They'll love it. I love eating it more though. So the whole process takes a couple of minutes. That's it. Which is why it's so easy to bake, and you'll do it a couple of times a week, easy. Especially once you taste it. Unbelievable. So that's the sort of consistency it's got to be. It's a little bit, not runny, but very tacky. It's definitely not a dry mix. Just scrape it down off the sides. And that's it. So now what we'll do is I might transfer this over into a stainless steel container. Just cover it up with some cling wrap, or you can put a tea towel on it and just put it somewhere out of the breeze. I usually sit on top of the stove top because it's nice and warm there. There's a little bit of filtered light that comes in, but no need to put in sunlight. And in 12 hours time, 12 to 16 hours time, that'll be nicely proofed. Let's have a look. Well, this is what it looks like in 12 hours time. As you can see, that's nicely aerated. Look at all the beautiful air bubbles. So from here, all we need to do is preheat our dish in the oven, get it really hot, get the oven really hot for at least 25 minutes, and then we just work the dough into a small ball with a little bit of, or with a decent amount of flour so it doesn't stick to our hands, and we score it and we bake it. Okay, let's do that. These are the 4 dishes we've been cooking our bread in. Most Italian households or Europeans have got the Bessemer dish. That works really well, but we have to take the that lid off there, the handle off, because it'll burn. This has been really successful. What I like about this one here is we actually bake upside down. So the loaf of bread goes on there. We bake that way. So when we go to put the bread in there, it's easy to lift off, and you get really good browning because more of the bread is exposed when cooking. Again, these crock pots are pretty awesome. Cast iron, very heavy, expensive. You don't have to have that base in there. We tried something a little bit different with that base in there, but this worked really well as well. But again, we have to take that off. Some of them come with a metal dish, but my favorite is the cast iron pot, like a camp oven, again with a flat bottom, so we could bake upside down. Very heavy, hold a lot of heat, and it's just, yeah, bakes really good. And the beauty of it is when after the half-hour bake time, when you remove the top, your bread is left fully exposed, so you get really good browning and consistency of the crust. Comes out beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Okay, so you're probably wondering why we cook it with in a pot in the oven, and the reason for that is bakers, what they normally do is they inject steam into their ovens, or in the old days they used to put wet rags in wood-fired ovens, or little bowls of water, and as that water evaporates, it creates a steam, and that steam is what gives you that amazing crust. So to replicate that in the least fussiest sort of way, we cook the dough for the first 30 minutes on high, extremely high, on 230 degrees Celsius, with a lid on it. You can do it in another pot where you cook it inside the actual pot and then you take the lid off. But I like to cook it upside down because what that does is it exposes the dough when we take the lid off for browning. So now, so by having it sealed inside a container like that, or inside the cooking pot, the first half hour of the process it's slower, so you get great rise, great pop, which is why it's important to put the slices in there. And what it does is it creates a steamy sort of environment, and you get that beautiful lift in the dough. So that'll be evident when we pull that lid off, so stay tuned and we'll see what it comes out like. It's gonna look fantastic. Okay, so our cast iron pot's nearly ready to pull out of the oven, so that is our dough. What we need to do now is just sprinkle some flour on top and make sure we've got plenty of flour on our hands, and we need to work this down. This is the messiest part of the whole process. So what we need to do is work this into a bit of a ball, but we don't want to work it too much, so it's a bit sloppy, but that's why we need plenty of flour on our hands and plenty of flour on the dough, and we slowly shape that into a ball, and that's it. So from here now I'll transfer that into our camp oven, so I'll just go and get the camp oven. Okay, so there's our camp oven. It's seriously hot. Now what I like to do to give it that awesome look is put a little bit of polenta on the base. That just gives the dough some really nice colour as well. And again, oh, I can smell already. Okay, so a little bit more flour on the hands. Just form it into a nice ball. Don't work it too much. place that over our polenta, and then we need to score it. This is like a secret, oh not a secret, this is a must. Score your own little design in there. A little bit more polenta over the top. We'll just give it that gorgeous colour. A little bit of flour as well. And that's it. Now we put that in the oven and cover it with the lid. So there is our bread, loaf of bread. Open the oven up. Place that on top. And that is it. Set the timer for about 30 minutes and then we'll come back and pull the lid off it and let's see what it looks like. Rightio, we've been baking for 30 minutes. This is always the exciting bit. So we open it up and let's see what it looks like. And what we need to do now is take off the lid so we can brown the top. So here we go. Wow, look at that. That looks fantastic. Look at that rise and that pop and all that. Oh, it just looks fantastic, and the polenta just gives it a beautiful, absolutely beautiful yellowy colour to it as well. So now we're going to put that in there for probably another 15 minutes or so to give it a beautiful browning off and crust on the outside. So, but we'll keep an eye on it. So it's, I'm saying 15 minutes, but sometimes it's a little bit more or a little bit less. So still keeping the oven on 230 degrees Celsius, fan force. So I'm nice and high. So it's been in there for 10 minutes and just looking at it, it looks fantastic. So I'm going to switch the oven off and it's ready to go. The smell is to die for. And that's what it looks like. It's just unbelievable. You can hear the sound of that crust already. I like to have a little bit of darkening on the tips, on the ears, I think they call that. It just looks amazing how it's exploded. It just cooks too good in this cast iron dish. So let's now sit it out. Okay, so now what we need to do is sit it on the rack for about 45 minutes, and you can hear that polenta crackling. Let's see if you can hear that. Sounds great. So yeah, what we'll do now is we'll sit on there for 45 minutes or so, and then we'll slice that up and try it. I wouldn't cut it straight away because it needs to rest and it won't be so nice on the inside. Everyone gets too excited and you get too tempted to start chopping into it because the smell is just unbelievable. So what we'll do is we'll wait about 45 minutes, cut it up, and then we'll see what it looks like. Can't wait. It'll be lunchtime by then. Okay, this is the exciting part. Let's have a look. It looks fantastic. Looks unbelievable. Nice and crunchy. Let's cut it in half and have a look. And that's it there. There's nice holes, so it's had some nice aeration. It's nice and soft. Wow. That looks unbelievable. Well, it's lunch taken care of. And there we have the finished product. So easy homemade sourdough bread, some homemade salami, olives and cheese that have been bought, and some beautiful olive oil with balsamic glaze, and a friend of mine's beautiful melanzane under oil, eggplants under oil. So when you can eat like that, it's just to eat it with fresh bread is an absolute wow. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and please leave me a comment underneath. Also go to my Instagram page, Chilibone, and you can even send me some photos of your version of your bread. That'd be fantastic. Let me know what you how you went with your bread making experience. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I hope you make yourself a really nice loaf of bread. Enjoy. Ciao.